So we're leaving the First Take studios. I want to take you way back, though, to when you first got the call from Skip Bayless trying to recruit you.
Well, it wasn't a call. It wasn't a call. He came up to me in the parking lot at ESPN in Bristol, and he was like, "I know you want to do the NBA and all of this stuff." He said, "But I'm telling you," he said, "this is the way to go, and I need you." And I was like, "You know, what do you need me for? The show's successful, you know?" And he's like, "I believe," he said, "we're doing well, we're doing fine." You know, the Tim Tebow rage was going on at that particular moment in time and stuff like that. And he was like, "You know, hey, it's going fine. But to do this and to take it to the next level, you got to have somebody with you every day, sitting across from you that you can trust." And he says, "I know I can trust you. And I can trust you to be that guy that's going to bring it every day." And he knew that he could depend on me to do that, along with the fact that we were buddies. And so because of that, it was something that he wanted me to do, and he convinced me to do, because I really didn't want to do it. And I was like, I was looking forward to continuing to cover the NBA and, you know, continue to be on the road and at the game stuff, which is what I love. And
convincing ESPN to let you back on TV at the time was a big deal too.
That was really more Jamie Horowitz. Jamie Horowitz was going to defer to Skip, but Jamie Horowitz was the VP for original content, and no matter what Skip wanted, it wasn't going to happen unless Jamie Horowitz signed off on it and pushed it, because Jamie Horowitz was going to have to be the guy that went upstairs, because Skip Bayless was going upstairs for years, wanting me back, wanting me to be a part of ESPN again. He was always a huge supporter of mine.
And he was told what back then?
Well, they would just say no. You know, they would just say no, and then Jamie Horowitz came along, and Skip said to him, "Just give him to me once a week." And Jamie said, "Let's try it." And Jamie saw me with him once a week and thought it was absolute magic. And so...
Were you surprised you were able to get back on TV then?
Well, yes, because, you know, I felt I had been blackballed. When ESPN let me go in 2009, nobody would touch me. And I mean nobody, not even BET or TV One. Nobody would touch me on television. And I went from having 4 jobs to having nothing. And as I was resurrected...
Which was insane.
It was insane. It made no sense to me, but it just shows you the power of politics in the business, in any business. And when you make enemies, when you have people that actively are about your demise, or it appears that way, that's an awful lot to overcome. And that's what I was faced with. But in the end, like I wrote in my book, you know, I was pointing the finger of blame in a lot of directions until my mother spoke to me. And when my mother spoke to me and lit into me, she made it very, very clear to me it wasn't about anybody else but me. She said, this is you. You got to do better with your attitude. You got to do better about accepting and absorbing the blame. Her getting on me the way that she did, and me having that epiphany, I never thought about what was done to me again after that.
And so when you got that opportunity to come back and start being on TV again, you were going to take advantage of it in every way you could.
I only had one thing to accomplish. One of the bosses who I felt was directly involved with my demise at the time.
Can you say
of all the things, yeah, it was Norby Williamson.
Oh.
It was Norby Williamson. Of all the things, I felt that he wasn't a supporter of mine. And when I got back, I had attitude. And for some reason, I just texted him one night and I said, "I got some stuff I want to get off my chest. Can I come see you?" He said, "Tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, I'll see you there." And I went into his office. And I was telling him how I felt. I said, I had 4 jobs. I didn't feel like I deserved to wake up and be with nothing. And he looked at me and he said, "Stephen, we all make mistakes." He said, "And I'm willing to acknowledge that." He said, "What about you? Aren't there things you wish you would have done differently?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "And you know this wasn't some unilateral decision that was made about you. And I nodded my head and I extended my hand and I shook his hand. Because he was saying, it wasn't just me. It was a whole bunch of people that felt this way, which again brought me back to what my mother said. And the fact that I was able to have that conversation with him, we went from what I felt was an oil and water relationship to me and Norby Williamson having a damn good relationship until the day he departed from ESPN. And, you know, we still keep in touch periodically. I respect that man. I respect, you know, what he brought to the table, a lot of hard decisions that he had to make along the way. He's obviously been a brilliant executive and helped build ESPN. And I'm grateful for the conversation and for ultimately the relationship that we were able to cultivate.